And now, for the main event, introducing our chairman, Marcel.
Thank you, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Global Summit 2019, and hello, Singapore. Now, from our invitation, you have seen that we deeply care about the assets that support our everyday lives. The other point we're passionate about is value. So let's talk about value. If we look at the total market cap of all the companies listed on the major stock exchanges, you end up with a number of around $70 trillion. Massive, right? But this number pales in comparison to the total value of the neural network that drives our society. What is this neural network? Well, you may certainly think of buildings. Now, the total value of all the buildings and all of real estate globally is 3 times the previous value. It's $210 trillion US. But this is only the tip of the iceberg. Below the waterline, you have infrastructure, transportation, oil and gas, and energy and power. These are the assets that drive our everyday lives. They brought us all here today. They give us shelter, cooling, heating, clean water, and much, much more. However, humanity is in an unprecedented mode to melt this iceberg, to destroy this value. Let's look at infrastructure. In the United States, you have over 50,000 bridges, out of which 10% are structurally deficient. Structurally deficient means that they should be taken off the grid and they should not be used anymore in daily transportation. What about this part of the world? India, a rising nation, huge population growth. In India, 50% of the bridges are in a decaying state. Every second bridge in India is literally not safe anymore. There must be other countries out there that do much better, right? How about the Germans? German engineering, German precision. Well, Germany, you have 6.5%, so the precision is still there with the 0.5%, but the problem is the exact same one, right? What makes this worse, an additional 22% of all the bridges in Germany are in a severely worsening condition, which brings the number up to 28.5% of bridges that are either in bad shape or should already be taken off the grid. So it doesn't matter, east or west, old economy, new economy, the problem remains the same. I could extend the statistics to other areas, transportation, or how about power grids? Now, what's the challenge? Why is this happening? Well, essentially, there are 2 problems out there right now. The first one is that we have a lot of aging infrastructure, structures that are 10, 20, 50 years old. And to use a human or medical analogy, these assets did not really have a healthy lifestyle, meaning they had bad maintenance over their lifetime and are today suffering and crumbling underneath our feet. Then there is the second challenge, which I commonly refer to as birth defect challenge. In developing countries, you have a massive demand to build infrastructure, buildings to match the growing population. But in all areas, in aerospace, transportation, there is the demand to do more, to go faster for less. This can lead to, let's call it, shady material selections, and as well, poor craftsmanship and workmanship. This can then result in defects being built in from the beginning, from the get-go, or birth defects. These birth defects can break out right at the launch of an asset, which then will delay the launch, or they break out a couple of years down the road, the defects first decaying a little bit more, and then leading to catastrophic consequences. So indeed, there is massive value at risk. But make no mistake here, it is not only the value of existing assets that we are destroying. There is the cost of replacing these assets if they go down. And what's worse, there is also the economic impact of disruption. We have all been there, right? At the metro station in the early morning, stranded because the metro is not running, because a track broke down, or because of a power outage at the other station. So yes, there is massive value at risk with our infrastructure. Now, risk is also an opportunity. And this is where we feel that we can protect the built world around us with technology and data. And in this context, when we reviewed this opportunity, we realized that we can take a holistic stab at this blue ocean opportunity that is out there in front of us. And in this context, it is with great delight to introduce Screening Eagle technology, a new holding structure that we have set up with the first two subsidiaries being Proceq and Tech2Stream. Proceq is an entity that has been around for decades. Many gold standards on the sensor front have been introduced by Proceq to the world. Tech2Stream is a software powerhouse that we have established over the last couple of years here in Singapore. And this allows us to tap into that digital and software layer of this opportunity in front of us. With this new organization, we have over 150 employees, 8 subsidiaries globally and expanding while we speak. We have over 200 distribution partners, many of which are here with us tonight. Thank you for coming. And what's best, over the last 18 months, we have been able to ship products to over 100 countries. So the products that we ship are based on technology. Products that let you look deep inside materials to do quality assurance, to let you define defects and eliminate those shady materials. At the core of our technology is what we call the Life Platform. This is a platform where we connect mobile and portable sensors to a portable and mobile device first world powered by the cloud. This is the world's first fully integrated, fully digital, and fully connected inspection platform. Now, with our mobile-first strategy, we can tap into the billion of devices that are out there and are increasing year on year. And we supercharge these mobile devices with cloud services. Cloud services to perform sophisticated analysis, allow for collaboration, over-the-air performance upgrades both to software and sensors, and what's most important, capture and maintain the data reliably and in an actionable form. Because at the end, it is all about reliable data. Reliable data captured and interpreted by inspectors, and we have many of you here with us tonight. But it doesn't stop there. This data needs to get into the hands of the asset owners. And not only into the hands of the asset owners. This data needs to get into the hands of the asset owners in an intuitive form for the asset owners to be able to take decisions on predictive and preventive maintenance on their assets. Now, over the years, we have introduced many gold standards in this industry. But with this platform, we are going to change the entire inspection industry. Thank you, thank you. Why do we win in this space? Because this is still a paper-driven sector. Paper everywhere, with all its drawbacks. But it is as well an industry that is truly low-tech. The hammer here, this is in many countries the most sophisticated tool that a bridge inspector is using to inspect bridges, tapping along and listening for awkward sounds. A skilled inspector can surely do this, but this is not what we should do in the 21st century, and this is not what we should do to protect the asset that drive our lives. Now, there are surely also devices out there based on ultrasound, radar, optical, many more. But the typical devices that are out there are fragmented, not connected, single-point solutions with a terrible user experience. What's more, the data on these devices is truly trapped within, which leads inevitably to a loss of data. Data that is so vital for asset owners and inspectors to take actionable decisions about the assets that they were used on. Now, here comes a graph that is quite important. On the horizontal axis, I have years, and on the vertical axis, computational speed. Now, as we all know, computational speed is something that grows exponential, both on mobile devices, but as well the cloud. With those conventional devices that are out there, you only get what you see. You are stuck on a horizontal vector with no growth, no performance increase, and a frustrating experience. And always remember, in nature, in life, and in business, all what is not growing is literally dying. Now, we are on that exponential curve, and we are super excited to take you all along onto this exponential growth curve of technology that allows you to protect the assets that matter most in our lives. Now, here we go, the Tower Bridge. This is a good example of an asset that stood the test of time. Now, imagine a world where all your assets are virtualized in a digital twin with actionable dashboards. Now, this means for inspector efficient workflows, analysis, and reporting at their fingertip. For the asset owners, this means lifetime health records of their assets. Now, here comes our vision. Predictive healthcare for assets and infrastructure, powered by technology and intelligent inspection data. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our vision. And this is Eagle. Now, we will talk a lot about products tonight, updates on existing products, introduction of new products. And I'm excited that the first speaker is already lined up, and I would like to introduce Ralph to you, who will walk you through the first product update. Ralph, over to you.
Thank you.